Yep. Hello, guys. It is great to be with you today. My name is Ekhator OSAZEE, your regular host on the Chris Ekhator Mindset Academy. Of course, in the show, all the time in the academy, we talk about real estate and education. Today, let us quickly look at life in Nigeria versus life in Ghana. Life in Nigeria and life in Ghana. I am a Nigerian. Ekhator is obviously not a Ghanaian name, and OSAZEE is obviously not a Ghanaian name. There is no tribe in Ghana, in any of the regions in Ghana, that bears the name Ekhator OSAZEE. Of course, there are a lot of people that bears the name Christian or Chris in Ghana. So, I'm a Nigerian living in Nigeria, and I would like to share my experience living in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria. I was born and I was bred in Nigeria. Of course, I've been to Ghana several times. But a Nigerian living in Nigeria is a totally different experience. The experience of living in Nigeria has a lot to do with a lot of struggles. Life in Nigeria is fast-paced, depending on the part of Nigeria where you live. The way life is lived in the north, east, west, and south of Nigeria is not the same. But I actually live in Lagos State. Lagos State, life in Lagos is the fastest of any of its kind anywhere in Nigeria. Life in Nigeria can be very challenging. Of course, it can also be equally rewarding because of the economic size of Nigeria. Nigeria's economy is the biggest anywhere in Africa. So, but Nigeria, because of perhaps corruption that is obvious to the rest of the world, bad leadership, bad governance, bad attitude, and I would rather also as well say self-centeredness of a lot of Nigerians because of the hardship in Nigeria. Since independence, Nigeria have really not found it easy. Life has always been a struggle. I was born in the 70s. I was born in 71. I'm 53 years old at the moment. And for 5 decades, I would say I have seen what you can consider to be the nakedness of Nigeria. Living in Nigeria is a mixed bag of feelings. Sometimes sweet, sometimes bitter, sometimes salty, sometimes in between. But for most part of living in Nigeria, you are on your own. You are on your own. If you are living in Nigeria, you are on your own. That is my experience. That may not be the experience of everybody in Nigeria, you know? But for somebody who lives in the South, we are on our own. We are on our own. So there's one question that normally comes to mind in Nigeria, and that has to do with the challenges that people that live in Nigeria has to contend with. So looking at the challenges of living in Nigeria, I would say I would like to look at 3 major challenges. The first one being tribalism and nepotism. It is very, very apparent and very, very obvious in Nigeria. All right. Tribalism is obvious, especially when you're looking for something in a community that is not your natural community. Natural means in the sense that if you are not from that tribe in Nigeria, and if you cannot speak that language in Nigeria, discrimination will be obvious. So it becomes a real challenge. And then, of course, for people who are even from the same community, who are of the same tribes with fellow Nigerians, you cannot escape nepotism. If you escape tribalism in Nigeria, you cannot escape nepotism in Nigeria. That is, if you are not a family member of some individuals or friends of some individuals, they will naturally discriminate against you. So tribalism and nepotism is a huge challenge living in Nigeria. And then, of course, there is the issue of crime in Nigeria, all over Nigeria. The nature of crime in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 20s is not the same as we have in 2010 down to 2020 something. Right now we're in 2024. So the nature of crime has changed. In the 70s, in the 80s, and in the 90s, there was nothing like cyber crime. But right now in Nigeria, there is the problem of cyber crime. In the 70s and 80s, there were issues of courtism and all manner, all sorts. But right now in Nigeria, the crime has taken a new dimension. There is huge economic crime and there's huge financial crime that even the government have to institute an agency, a commission called Economic and Financial, you know, uh, Commission, Economic and Financial Crime Commission, you know, to look into economic crime, look into financial crimes, all right, and kidnapping, adoption, almost on a daily. Students, old people, young people, bank executives, traditional chiefs, imams, church leaders, nobody, everybody is exposed, you know, to kidnapping as a crime in Nigeria. So, but then government is trying. I know for a fact that the police is trying. Okay, I give it to them. They are trying. With the number of policemen that we have to police over 200 million people, come on, you need at least 10 million policemen to, to effectively police a nation of this size in terms of geographical size and in terms of um, geographical size and population. We need more police. We need more police. We need more police. You know, we need more policing in Nigeria. Okay, even though Nigeria is not a police state, but we need more policing in Nigeria to be able to arrest crime before they happen. Okay, and effectively deal with them when they do happen. And then swift and fast judgment for those who are convicted of crimes. And then, of course, you also have another challenge in Nigeria, apart from tribalism, nepotism, and crime in Nigeria. The other challenges to living, the other challenge to living in Nigeria is the challenge of lack of job opportunities. We need a lot of entrepreneurs. We need creative people. We need entrepreneurs with strong imagination and strong creativity because the problem of Nigeria right now has gone beyond politics. The problem of Nigeria right now require imaginative solutions and creative solutions. Our leaders need to be imaginative and our leaders need to be very creative because with the unemployment ratio in Nigeria is in double digits. Unemployment ratio in Nigeria is very high. Who can cope with a double-digit unemployment? Nobody can. With our population, come on, we need a lot of entrepreneurs. We need a lot of entrepreneurs to solve the issue of lack of jobs, and then we need a lot of policemen, a lot of Nigerians to go into the police force to deal with the issue of crime, and then of course, with the right mindset, you know, Nigeria is big enough to accommodate all the tribes in Nigeria. Nigeria is big enough to accommodate everyone, okay? Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, and other tribes. Nigeria is big enough to accommodate everybody. Then, of course, let us now quickly compare living in Nigeria and living in Ghana. First, what is the similarity? We are all both black. We both live in West Africa. Our system of government, even though it is not the same, but both practice democracy. There is Christians, there are Muslims in Ghana, there is traditional beliefs in Ghana. All right. So The similarities are there, but the differences are much. Ghanaians are more peaceful and more calm than Nigerians. They are slower than Nigerians, okay? They are ready to, they are more honest. I would say Ghanaians are more honest than Nigerians because from my experience dealing with Ghanaians, they are clearly more honest than Nigerians. So the difference is there, the similarity is there. And in terms of economy, Nigerian economy is obviously bigger than Ghana's economy. But however, with the benefit of ECOWAS and free movement and both trade and everything, uh, Nigeria and Ghana can do a lot together. We can have joint projects, okay, where we've excelled, in short, Ghana got their independence 58, we got our independence 60. So you can see that and both had their own setbacks during the slave trade. So both Ghana and Nigeria, lost a lot of able-bodied men and women to the colonial masters, and both were colonized by the British. So our similarities in terms of our pre-colonial experience and colonial experience and post-colonial experience is very close. So we are both located along the Atlantic Ocean and everything. So um, which of the country is better to live in between Ghana and Nigeria? This is the part that I really love the most. Now, if I'm to be sincere, I would like to live in Ghana but work in Nigeria. Live in Ghana because crime is less in Ghana. Um, uh, the Ghanaian environment is more calm and peaceful, and there's electricity. Electricity in Ghana, for all the period I've been to Ghana, it has always been 24 hours. So in terms of living, I would like to live in Ghana, but in terms of work, my source of income, I would like to work in Nigeria. So I'm actually contemplating this remote idea of living in Ghana but working in Nigeria. All right. So which is better to live in? If there is no work, it's better to live in Ghana. But if you consider work, it is better to live and work in Nigeria than to live and work in Ghana. If I had to live and work in either of these countries, I would rather live and work in Ghana. But if I can live somewhere and work somewhere, I would rather live in Ghana and work in Nigeria. All right. Because the economy of Nigeria is really big. For if you really want to be anything financial, in Africa, it's good to consider Nigeria. Okay. And then what are my advice to Nigerians who are considering living in Ghana? First, do your research before moving to Ghana. Learn the local language in Ghana. Be prepared for the culture shock because most Ghanaians, I'm told, don't like to give houses to Nigerians. They don't like to give houses to Nigerians. So how can you live in a place without a house? If you stay in the hotel, you bleed out, no matter how rich you are. Hotels in Ghana are extremely expensive. I've lived in hotels in Nigeria. I mean, in Ghana, I've lived in hotels in Ghana. It's actually more expensive than living in hotels in Nigeria. All right. And so that's it. If you're considering living in Ghana, just make sure you do your research, proper research, before moving to Ghana. Learn the local language before moving to Ghana, and then prepare for the shock. And then, what's my final thought on living in Ghana? Final thought living in Ghana and working in Ghana. Mm. Mm. Ghana is a good place to live in. If you consider crime, you consider electricity, and then the fact that you will not deal with tribalism or nepotism, but you may deal with xenophobia. Ghanaians may be scared of Nigerians and co. Omo, it's hard to answer, but Ghana is a really good place to live in, especially Accra. I would like to live in Accra. I would like to explore the Ghana cuisine, the food, the clothes, the fine YouTubers that live in Ghana. And then, do I have any advice for Nigerians considering living in Ghana? Yeah, my advice is do your research, learn a local language or two local languages in Ghana, and then prepare for the shock. My name is Ekhator Christian OSAZEE. I hope you have learned something about life in Nigeria. Like I said, life in Nigeria is sweet. Life in Nigeria is bitter, and life in Nigeria can be salty. It's a mixed bag of feelings, but Nigeria is a great place to live in. We have democracy, we have freedom of speech, although you have to control what you say online and what you say offline so that you don't get under the big hammer of the law. And if you are creative and you're imaginative, you are welcome to Nigeria. My name is Ekhator Christian OSAZEE. Subscribe, share this video, like this video, comment on this video, and then when next to come your way, we'll either talk about real estate, we talk about education, or we talk about digital networking. God bless you. Bye.